Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the All Things Leeds podcast, where myself, Ed McIntyre, and sat opposite me on the desk is, as always, my co-host Charles Foster. How are you, Charles?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Decent weather the last couple of days, so yeah, enjoying it.
Good week?
Good week, especially given the result there. Great week.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that game in this episode. Also joining us, the most knowledgeable Leeds United fan around it is Andrew Dalton, otherwise known as Stats. How are you?
Very well, sir. Very well, sir. Cracking start to the season. 1 out of 1. Hopefully expect some transfer news coming up for the next 20 hours or so. I'm looking forward to the return visit of Nottingham Forest Tunnel Road on Saturday lunchtime.
Yes, we will talk a lot about that in this episode. We will, of course, look back on Leeds United's opening game of a new season, though. Leeds United won 3-1 away at Bristol City last Sunday, a perfect start to the centenary season. We'll also discuss the latest transfer news and other bits of news as well coming out of Ellen Road before looking ahead to the two games that are coming up. First being at home this Saturday lunchtime against Nottingham Forest, with the next on Tuesday night away at Salford City in the first round of the Carabao Cup. This is the All Things Leeds podcast. Yes, we're back in the studio. Thank you for tuning in as always. And me and Charles, we are back in the flow of things now. Third week in a row back, and because the new season has started, as I said last week, these podcasts will be returning weekly. Of course, we're trying again by Stats. Thank you very much for coming on. Yes. Second time coming on the podcast.
Yes, always a good day coming on August the 7th. We actually kicked off our 2004-5 campain August the 7th all those years ago under Kevin Blackwell. I want to win ever Derby County thanks to the Fraser Richardson goal. So yeah, good day August the 7th.
Nice.
Showing a bit of knowledge in there.
There you go.
That's why he's on the podcast.
Absolutely.
All his knowledge.
Play your strengths.
Yes.
Well, Stats, the last time you were on, it was the end of season special, and we were talking about a book that that you were writing. Have you got an update on the book?
Yes, we're just in the final throes of sort of proofreading it all. It's all been written 100 years of Leeds United, right through from the decades of the 1920s, right through to the present day. Also, the disappointment against with Derby County and the playoffs. I just have to interrupt because we have had a tweet off Phil Hay, and It's a very important tweet. Bristol City planned for Eddie Nketiah to undergo medical today, but it didn't happen. Leeds pushing hard to get Nketiah over the line. So there you go. That's live breaking news.
We've got breaking news on the podcast.
Yeah, breaking news, and that's what we have for Phil Hay. Anyway, just going back to the book. Hopefully that'll be done. We'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, it's all due out in October for the centenary. Very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a busy few weeks for myself, and it's a hard task writing 100 years. There's been a lot happening, some good times, some bad times. The sad times, relegation times, promotions, European campaigns, the tragedies with the likes of the tragic deaths of obviously Gary Speed back in 2011, the disturbing scenes in Istanbul in 2000, all is covered in there, and it'll be on all in good bookstores hopefully in October time.
Nice, so it's all finished then? It's
all
done.
Finished. Just
how many pages?
512. So just doing the last thrones of the sort of proofreading. I'm sure there'll still be, you can proofread something 100 times and miss something out.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But yeah, looking forward to, hopefully I'll be coming back on just before it comes out and doing a bit of press and what have you. So yeah, very much looking forward to the release date in October.
Brilliant. Keep an eye out on that one. What's it called?
100 Years of Leeds United, the official 100 Years of Leeds United by me.
Nice.
By me.
Nice. Well, that's good. So yeah, keep an eye out on that one out in October. Well, let's get into the first game of the season then, shall we, Charles? Leeds United beating Bristol City 3-1 last Sunday away at Ashton Gate. And Charles, a perfect start to the season.
Yeah, you always want to start the season well. We started last campaign with a 3-1 win as well, which we know how well that went. Yeah. Was it 4 or 5 games we won on the bounce? 4 wins.
4,
and then drew the 5th one.
That's right. Yes.
Against, was it Swansea?
It was 2-2.
Yeah. So if we could do a similar start to last season, that'd be brilliant. But yeah, the movement was brilliant in these games, especially for the goals. We talk about the goals, or do you want to talk generally?
Yeah, we'll get into the goals in a lot more detail. But yeah, perfect start to the centenary season, as you want really. You didn't want to start the 100th year of Leeds United with a loss, and getting a win down at Bristol City. We always beat Bristol City, so it was nice to get a win and keep that record going.
Yeah, I think they've only beaten us once in the last 16.
Yeah, 16 games. We've won 12 of those now.
Insane stat.
Mental.
But yeah, it's almost like a bank's 3 points every time we play them. I say that we'll probably lose the home fixture now. But yeah, we did the double over them last season. We can hopefully do the same again this season.
Stats,
Yes.
before the game, were you nervous or excited heading into the game?
I think it was a little bit of apprehension. Look, we came so close last season, and we probably should have won promotion, probably should have finished second. There's always that trepidation of going into a new season, new ideas. Obviously, Bielsa has gone away from the back four, and he's gone this three at the back formation, which I thought worked really, really well on Sunday. Bristol City is never an easy place to go to. We have got a very good record down there. Steve Lansdowne and Lee Johnson very outspoken in the press, obviously, about Spygate and what have you. And I thought for 75 minutes, they really controlled the game. I thought they were excellent. I thought Pablo, he's being Pablo, just doing things that no one can probably do on a football field.
First 4 years old as well.
Absolutely. I thought Patrick Bamford took his goal really well, and I tweeted out if ever a striker needed one, he'd got one, and I thought he looked sharp. I thought his movement looked really, really sharp. And then Jack Harrison got the third. I think the only disappointment or two was we didn't keep a clean sheet. I think we could probably had more goals.
Yeah.
But opening day win away from home against a team that will probably be fighting for the top 6, top 7 places.
Yeah, definitely.
And look, we can't get carried away. Look what happened last season. We were top at Christmas and we finished third. So it's not a question of getting carried away. It's a question of taking one game at a time. I'm sure Bielsa will keep the players grounded, and then move on to the next one against Nottingham Forest. You can't get carried away after one game.
But there's promising signs though. Signs.
Yeah. I thought Ben White was absolutely fantastic. I thought he headed everything, and I think it was a great clip on Instagram with Liam Cooper on Sunday that Ben White just heads everything away. So yeah, just a real good display. Early signs are very encouraging, but again, it's one game. It's very difficult to tell from the opening game of the season what's going to unfold over the next 10 months. There's a lot of football to play in the very, very early stages. Great start. That's all it is. It's a start. They then need to build for the Nottingham Forest game before the trip to the Peninsula Stadium against Salford on Tuesday night. Yeah,
definitely. Well, I was nervous about going into the season against Bristol City. I didn't really know what to expect, and the transfer window didn't really excite me before the start of the season. But nerves were settled after 25 minutes, and I mean, to be honest, for the first 25 minutes, I thought we were a better team from first minute to last. I thought we were in control of the game, by far the better side. But first 25 minutes or so, they were pretty dull. The only real chance was Patrick Bamford on the turn, half volley. He probably should have hit the tag in that effort, but he went wide. But 25th minute, 26th minute, Pablo Hernandez gets us 1-0 ahead. Fantastic finish from Pablo Hernandez outside the box, getting it quick onto his left foot, curling it right into that top left-hand corner. I mean, Charles, it was a fantastic finish from Pablo Hernandez. 34 years old as well.
Not just the finish was absolutely superb, but the build-up play I thought really made the goal. The diagonal ball from Ben White up to Jack Harrison on the far left, and him working it back in the centre to Adam Forshaw. It cut out their entire midfield that pass and allowed us to get within that far away from the goal, into their box immediately. Of course, it's easier said than done to whip round and hit one into the top corner with your left foot but not if you're Pablo Hernandez. But that was a really good goal. But it was just I don't think any people appreciate the diagonal ball enough, because that's what we've got Ben White for, is to be comfortable on the ball
definitely.
And to deliver those diagonal passes to the wings, to Jack Harrison, to Costa, whoever's playing on the wings, to Hernandez, and find people and get us way up the field much faster and make the transition quicker, because that's what Bielsa's about mainly, isn't it? The transition from defence to attack as quickly as possible. And
the build-up play was fantastic. Forshaw getting the assist as well. Nice feed into Pablo Hernandez. And Forshaw, for me, I thought looked really good. I was slightly nervous before the game, looking at the team sheet. Click and Forshaw playing together. I was thinking, surely that's not going to work. I think there were a few raised eyebrows as well. Starting Forshaw over Helder Costa. I think the option was you put Pablo Hernandez as the number 10, Helder Costa out wide. A few raised eyebrows, but Forshaw I thought played really, really well in that forward midfield.
Yeah, and I think again, I know he's doing the presser tomorrow, which will be Thursday. I don't know when this goes out. He's having a bit more of a commanding forward role, and I thought he'd scored on Sunday when the shot just flashed an inch past the post. I just think the whole team performance for 75 minutes was superb. I loved Ben White's celebration when Pablo scored with the I know you can't probably see it on camera, but go like that. Just a really good team performance. Obviously there's still a lot of work to do before the table doesn't really take shape until, I like to look at it October time. You get a good idea of who's going to be where in the league table. But yeah, encouraging. Pablo, fantastic, especially for Stuart Dallas, who I thought one of the most versatile players you'll see at Ellen Road. Seemed to play everywhere, was brilliant against Derby County in the agonising playoff defeat, and just kept on his good form on Sunday. But yeah, the one thing I will say is if I reach the age of 35 without NkGhTg giving me a heart attack, I think I've done very well. But,
Charles, we've been very vocal about how not confident we are in Adam Forshaw. But when he plays in that deep role, his passes are not great. He does do a lot of bad back passes. But in that forward midfield role, do you not think he looked really good there?
I don't like to unfairly criticise any player in a Leeds shirt because I don't think it helps anybody. But in the past, I've been frustrated with Forshaw because of his. I know he's normally got some of the best passing stats in the team whenever we play, but his passes always seem the most safe whenever he's in the deeper role. He's always laying it back off to centre backs, laying it back off to full backs, short passes. He never seems to take as many risks as we would like him to. But yeah, you're right. On Sunday when he played further forward, he took a few more risks and it was much better. So I think he just needs to be a little bit more experimental with the stuff he does. I think if you fall into the trap of being predictable, people deal with you easily. But if you can keep performing like that and mix things up, then I don't see any reason why you can't.
And another option for number 10 role as well. We've got plenty of players as options for the number 10 role. We've got Matej Borges, still got Tyler Roberts as well, who's still to come back from injury. It will be interesting to see where Tyler Roberts plays actually, because of course Kemal Roos left Leeds now. Will he be the backup to Patrick Bamford, or will he be for number 10? It's interesting. We've got a lot of options though now for going forward, which is great.
I think I was really impressed with Tyler last season. I was being very, very unlucky with injuries, and I thought towards the back end of the season, I thought it showed some real promising signs. I'm intrigued to see what Bogues is going to look like. He looked brilliant in pre-season, must be said, and it's nice to have those options certainly in the midfield on that number 10 shirt, because there will be times when Pablo can't play 2 in a week, which is nothing against Pablo. It's just you need to sort of look after Pablo. He's won the Player of the Year award for the last 2 years. So you need to look after him because he's going to be the mainstay of the club. I thought Calvin was superb again. It looks like, touchwood, he will be a Leeds player in less than 20 odd hours time when the transfer window closes. So yeah, I'm just really encouraged, because there's always that trepidation, that nervousness on that first ever new season. You don't know what to forget, and especially coming so close, you're going to get a playoff hangover, which some clubs do sort of have. And you just look at the results on over the weekend, that none of the relegated clubs won. All got beat. Cardiff lost 3-2 at Wigan. Fulham lost 1-0 at Barnsley, and Huddersfield, who I thought were dreadful, lost 2-1 at home to Derby. So
all the promoted sides won as well, didn't they?
It was a massive opening weekend of results, because Cardiff, you look at it, you think they're the best defensive team in the Championship, especially with Neil Warnock. Conceded 3 goals away at Wigan. Fulham, best attack in the Championship, couldn't score against Barnsley. Huddersfield were dreadful at home. I love Huddersfield now. They've gone back to being a nothing mid-table Championship. No fans in the ground. Dreadful, losing to Derby. Awesome. But and you say Charlton won at Blackburn Rovers as well. So Barnsley beat Fulham. So a real mixed bag of results for the rest of the sides. But that's a Championship for you. Yeah, definitely.
The bookies will have a field day with that one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course, 1-0 at half-time against Bristol. I mean, we could have easily given a few goals away in the first half, though. NkGhTg, Stats mentioned, I think made a lot of people nervous. I mean, it took about 30 seconds into the game and before NkGhTg started taking on their attackers in his own box as well.
Croy turning the 18-yard box.
Well, that was in the first few seconds, and you're thinking, hi, Kiko, welcome back. But look, I thought he made a really good save. He came out for one and he made a good save early in the first half.
Yeah, because he missed... He failed to punch clear across, but then he got down well and made a good save. And I think that's a good sign, because NkGhTg, I think he did come out a lot, and it will scare people. There was at one point where he was further out than the centre-backs, and he had the ball at his feet. But I think NkGhTg, a lot of people look at him and think he's not confident because he's just rushing out willy-nilly. But I think he is confident. I think
he's got balls of steel.
Because when NkGhTg comes out of his goal, he's coming out to go get the ball, whether you like it or not. He's not going to go halfway and think, I shouldn't have come out, I'm going to run back. He will go get the ball. But I think that he does read the play well, and he did recover from that dreadful punch, trying to clear the cross. And NkGhTg, for me, I thought he looked okay. I thought he looked confident.
What a really nice kit as well. The goalkeeper kit.
Oh, the goalkeeper kit's
Beautiful
lovely.
kit.
Yes, it is. It is. Just going back to Kiko, it's quite interesting now doing some research on sort of goalkeeping stats. If you actually look back, 14-15 Silvestri goal, 15-16 Silvestri goal, 16-17 Rob Green, 17-18 our dearest friend Felix, 18-19 Peacock Fowl, 19-20 Kiko's. That's 5 keepers in the last 5 years opening the game for Leeds United on day one of a new season. So we're not quite that consistency there. But look, it's gonna be fun this year with Kiko, isn't it? He'll probably drive us all crazy and whatnot. But it's part of his game, and it's very difficult to take that out of the game. I think people look back on that Derby County goal that Jack Marriott scored in the playoff semi-final in the first half, and he then did it again 2 minutes later, did Kiko, and I think that's where everyone thinks they'll have heart attacks. But look, it's part of his game, it's part of his nurture, it's part of his development. Yeah.
I think it's going to take a while before fans are comfortable with Kiko rushing out of his goal, but I think after a while, once he's come out and he's dealt with a few situations and not done a mistake for a while, and then I think fans will be more settled down, they'll be more comfortable with Kiko saving goal.
Yes.
Sunday when he came out, I thought he looked comfortable, and I thought he looked like he knew what he was doing.
It seemed he was fairly committed to stay at the club, wasn't he? Because didn't the club get some offers from Sevilla and Valencia?
Yeah, they did. And look, I've no issues with him. It's going to be part of the fun with him. It's going to be part of the course with Kiko. And we'll see what he brings up against Nottingham Forest on Saturday lunchtime.
Of course, 2-0 up, 10 minutes into the second half. Patrick Bamford scoring here. It was nice build-up play again. Hernandez mugging off Callum O'Dowda yet again.
He did it so many times in the game.
A double nutmeg in the first half. Brilliant. Brilliant assist from Pablo Hernandez. Nice little cross. Patrick
Superb
Bamford.
Bit of movement though from Bamford.
Patrick Bamford. Because Callas, the footage of Callas, he's just stood still. Patrick Bamford, I think, that's credit to him and his movement. Yeah. And it was a nice header as well. It looks a simple header, but he directed it towards goal, got it in. Nice header. And Patrick Bamford, I'm so pleased that he scored. And I hope that he does. Goals breed confidence. I hope that he does carry confidence, carry momentum, and I hope that he kicks on now.
Given he's the kind of main striker at Leeds, he's pretty much the only striker other than Edmondson. He can either take that one of two ways. He can either take it as a massive burden, or he can take it as a challenge. As he is the number 9, we're relying on him, and he'll rise to that challenge. And if he plays, because he was a lot more aggressive in the Bristol City game than he has been in previous games.
Hold-up play was excellent.
He muscled both their centre halves to the ground at one point, and that's what we want to see from him. We want to see a bit more aggression, because most of Bamford's critics were saying that his movement was too slow, he was too easy to deal with, he was
weak,
wasn't nasty enough to bully centre halves, but he really was up to the mark in this game. And if he can keep that this season, and he can bully defences, because he's a big lad, he'll win stuff in the air if he's willing to muscle players, and if he does like what he did against Bristol City in our next couple of games, he will get more goals. Yeah,
consistency is key now for Patrick Bamford, and I really do hope he kicks on. I want Leeds United to do well. I want the striker to do well, and I hope that Patrick Bamford does go and score a load of goals. But we have said it before, though, haven't we? Last season, away at Preston, he scored 2 goals, and everyone said he's going to kick on now, surely. But he did it. He didn't kick on, but I hope that this is a different case. I was on the LSLM podcast earlier on today at the time of recording, and we were discussing last season. Patrick Bamford did have an injury. Maybe that was playing on his mind, and why he didn't really get stuck into games a lot. But he hasn't been injured for a while now. And hopefully he is getting stuck in a lot more, and hopefully this goal does kick on now.
What people forget is with Bamford is he missed a large chunk of the season. He was out from August till December, came back against Bolton, scored, got injured, and then was out again for a period of time. It's very difficult to get that continuity. And if you actually look at his record from last season, it wasn't that bad at all for probably less than 1 in 2. And there were glimpses, especially at home to West Brom. He scored 2 absolutely fantastic goals, and the 2 away at Preston in April in the run-in. He just needs a run of games. That, in my opinion, Patrick Bamford, we've seen it. He's done it in the Championship. He gets a run of games, he will score goals, and I believe he can score 20 goals this season. He's already off the mark for the season. You've got that first one. Provided he can stay injury-free, should I say, he'll score goals, and I believe that. I really do.
Definitely, and hopefully he does kick on now and do well this season. 3-0 up on 71 minutes. Dallas, great run on the break.
I felt a bit bad for him that he didn't get the assist.
Yeah, because he gave it to Click. His shot, it looked like it was going in, but it got blocked. But then Harrison, right place at the right time, though, to score it in. It's a simple tapping at the end of the day, but he is in the right place at the right time. And Jack Harrison, throughout the summer, showed a lot of good signs on his Instagram. He was showing that he was in the gym every day, working hard. And Jack Harrison, now he's got a goal. I'm pleased for him. Hopefully he gets confident now and kicks on now. And Jack Harrison showed a lot of promising signs against Bristol.
You see, it was a tap-in, but at the same time, he hit it on the volley. And volleys you can skew off your foot, then go wide and then go high if you hit it too hard. It's still had a fair bit to do, and the keeper and the defender were coming back over. But his general play is he was always just near Bristol City's last man. He was always just saying just onside, and we were finding him in loads of space frequently throughout the game, and he was pushing Leeds forward constantly. And he was really impressive in pre-season. I really hope he maintains that through in the next couple for the rest of this season.
Yeah, and I think he's holding that position down now, isn't he? That left wing position. I don't think Helder Costa is going to find it tough to get in this team now. If you've got Forshaw and Click playing in the centre, Pablo on one side, you're not going to drop Pablo Hernandez because he's Pablo Hernandez. And Jack Harrison, if he keeps on performing how he is, Helder Costa is going to struggle to get in the starting 11, and it's going to be interesting. But we've got a lot of competition now, which is good, healthy competition, and we're 3-0 up in this game, and everything we're going smoothly. 10 minutes from time, though, we did concede. Ryman picking up the ball on the right, somehow getting into a box and then poking the ball past NkGhTg, who probably should have done better, probably should have made himself a bit bigger, especially at his front post. It did take a deflection, but I feel as though he should have done better. But we unnecessarily made it a contest for the last 10-15 minutes. And Stats, is that an issue, do you feel, late on? Do you think that the players kind of tired?
I just think it's the first game of the season. You're not going to be at it, so to speak, first game of the season. And I think the players just wanted to make a statement from last season and have the same scoreline from last season when we beat Stoke 3. But no, in all seriousness, I think if you're going to concede at 3-0 up. And look, the cruise through, they had a flurry in the last 5 minutes or so, but I was never really concerned that they were going to lose the game or even draw the game. They look comfortable. As a home side, Bristol City are always going to get chances because that's just the way it is. And again, they saw the game out to Leeds and got off to a great start. And yeah, it'd be nice to keep a clean sheet, but 3-0, 3-1 should I say, 3 points. Great start. Can't say anything more than that.
It happened against Reading away last season as well. We went 3-0 up in the first half, and in the second half the players just stood about because they thought, right, we've won this game. we'll just keep the ball when we can. We'll just pass it about and not expend too much effort. Yeah. And I think that it's slightly dangerous actually. But at the same time, the players. It's a very long season. There's plenty of games. You don't want to unnecessarily tire yourself out.
You don't need to keep on running. Try score 4, 5, 6 goals when you're already 3-0 up.
If you're 3-0 up, the game's yours unless you're very, very mentally weak or make some stupid mistakes.
Yeah, poor defensively. But
as I say, they just needed to see the game through, and they did so in the end. They got 3 points and opened out the season. Tough away game. Bristol City. Bit mouthing off in the press a little bit. Lee Johnson's got a dire record against Leeds. I think he's won 1 in 7 against Leeds. And
the Click comment was the funniest when he said they've got 1 shot on target against us in 3 games.
I was trying to work out the third games when he played them twice.
I was thinking that as well.
They won the game, and that's the main thing. And it's building blocks at this stage of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want to go off like a complete house on fire as we did last year. We were top of the league, everyone getting excited. We all thought it was going to be the year, and they fell away at the back end of the season. You don't want to peak too soon. Great away performance, classic away performance, and you move on to Nottingham Forest on Saturday lunchtime. Yeah.
And it is only one game. You don't want to get too carried away. But Charles, does that win give you a lot of confidence and belief going into the long hard season that's ahead?
Well, it does. You always want to win on the opening day because I remember the Monk season when we lost 3-0 at QPR and everyone was like really gutted.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Charles. I remember going on Twitter after that game and all I could read was Leeds are getting relegated, and that's what I mean by the opening day of the season. All of a sudden, Fulham getting relegated because they beat Barnsley. It's very difficult to tell from experience from watching a lot of football over the last 30-odd years. The first game of the season doesn't have to tell you anything. 10 games time is when you start building up, and by that time under Monk in 16-17, Leeds had slowly moved their way up the table. They found the form under Chris Wood's goals, the goal against Fulham, the bicycle kick just sort of set them off. Okay, they lost to Huddersfield. I think Aaron Moy scored the winner. Then all of a sudden, they clicked into gear, beat Blackburn, beat Cardiff, beat Ipswich, and went on a run, and obviously just missed out on the playoffs. So it's very difficult to attain where you're going to finish after one game. It's great to get the victory, don't get me wrong, feet on the ground and move on to the next one.
Yeah, but I'm sure top 2 is the aim done. For me, my takeaway of the game, you could see a big gulf in class. You could see which team is the team who are probably going to push for those automatic promotion places, and then you could see the team who are probably only going to be able to push for the top 5-6 places. And yeah, I do think that there was a big gulf in class, but a 3-1 win, great start. We do need to talk about Ben White though. Stats mentioned him earlier. 21 years old, first game in the Championship. I think everyone was kind of nervous to see the way that he played in his first Championship game. But Charles, he looked like he had played Championship football for years. He was so calm and composed and great at passing. He looked great.
Yeah, he's really comfortable on the ball, and that's kind of essential to be a Bielsa centre half. Yeah, got to be comfortable on the ball and be able to find those long diagonal passes and find the full-backs and make sure he can get through midfield. But he was really impressive. As Stats was saying earlier, he was winning loads of stuff, winning loads of balls in the air, and he was making us think, well, why are we moaning about getting him for Pontus Jansson? It was a Bielsa recommended centre back as well. People saying, oh, he's too young, he won't be able to replace him. He'll end up just being like Pascal Struijk, as in kind of a bit part player. But you've got to trust Bielsa's recommendation when he says, right, we need him, we want him.
Yeah.
You know he's going to be. If he's not there yet, he will be there once Bielsa's work with him a bit.
Yeah, I think it made people realise we probably really don't need a centre-back. I think a lot of people were saying we need a centre-back come in for Ben White and start alongside Liam Cooper. But right now, I don't think we're going to get a centre-back in who's going to be happy sitting on the bench every league game. Pontus who? Pontus
well,
who?
Yeah.
I don't think we missed him at all. Ben White for me is everything Pontus Jansson was, just 10 times better, and minus the really silly stuff that Pontus
What was
Jansson
even
did.
more interesting was Cooper and White hadn't played together in pre-season, and all of a sudden you bring them together.
Played against Calgary though.
Sorry, before that is what I mean. Before they played together once before in the Calgary game, and they'd never been apart. And what an understanding they both got. And I thought Ben was absolutely superb. And yeah, I still think they need another one in there
For
just in case.
for cover.
Yeah, just for cover.
Yeah. And if you get Ryan Nelson over the line, it sounds like he's very highly rated. And I don't know too much about him. But yeah, I can't criticise a performance from minute 1 to minute 75.
Yeah.
I thought they got a little sloppy towards that 5-minute period from 75 to 80. But again, they eased out and saw the game out and won the game. And great start. And Bielsa obviously is showing his magic early on in the season. Yeah,
with Ben White. And Ben White for me as well, I'm comfortable with him. Every time we look like we could have conceded, Ben White was there to stop it. Ben White was awesome. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Ben White progresses this season. On to transfers then, and we've got to start with the big news regarding 26-year-old striker Kemar Roof, don't we? He's of course left Leeds to join Belgian side Anderlecht on a permanent deal for a fee believed to be around £7 million. Charles, thoughts on this?
I think West Brom and Oxford have got sell-on clauses as well, so I think we're only getting about 6 million in total. He's playing for Vincent Company's Anderlecht.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange.
It's a weird transfer, isn't it, from Oxford to Anderlecht?
Yeah.
If you ever told me a few years ago one of our players would be going to Anderlecht, I wouldn't have believed you.
We did sell Duncan McKenzie to Anderlecht in 1978, so he has followed
21 years before I was born.
Yeah.
Yes. But from my perspective, I think it's a very good deal for the football club. I think you've got a player who is in his final year of his contract. It did look like he was going to sign a new deal. I think then you have to cash in. I think you can't let his deal run out and go for a freebie. And then for Kemar, I think he's done brilliant at Leeds. I think he'll be frustrated. I think he said on his Instagram post that he was disappointed with all his injuries that he had. He gave his all for Leeds. There's no bad blood from my perspective. I wish him all the best in Anderlecht. And I think Vinny Company will make him an even better player. Yeah,
definitely. No bad blood there. Kemar Roof, I just want to thank him for the memories. I will never forget that week where we beat Aston Villa 3-2 with him scoring the winning goal against Aston Villa, and then he scored 2 goals in injury time to beat Blackburn Rovers at home 3-2. I will never forget that. Thank you, Kemar Roof, for the memories. But I agree with Stats though. I think it is good business from Leeds United. 7 million, you could have said he's our highest goal scorer. You need to try and get more, but he is in the last year of his contract. I don't think those were progressing, and it's either get £7 million for him now or he leaves for free at the summer. And you'd rather sell him now. We've seen it with Arsenal plenty of times. They've just lost Aaron Ramsey for free to Juventus. You want to sell him now, and he's also injury prone as well. He's picked up a lot of injuries in a short amount of time, so cash in now on him. as long as we replace him, though, hopefully we do replace him.
I do wonder, though, Ed, had he been fit for the second leg against Derby, would it have been a different outcome?
Yeah.
You never know. But injuries are part and parcel of the game. He goes with, I think, everybody's best wishes at Leeds.
Yeah.
As you say, those 2 moments when he scored the winner at Villa Park was sensational, and then to do it, literally 3 days later.
I went absolutely mental in the pub when he scored that goal.
Yeah, I think the whole of
incredible.
Leeds did was just fantastic. He's left with some happy memories.
Yeah.
Memories first goal for the club against Aston Villa back in December 2016.
Yeah, I love that.
I was there for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
I was in the cup.
And I think he tweeted "Pray for Roof" because he hit the post against Liverpool in the cup a few days earlier.
Yeah, that was great.
And do you know what? He's run his blood to water, and good luck to him.
Yeah.
Good luck to him. He's got the lure of playing in another country, playing with a title winner in Vincent Kompany. And as I say, I've got nothing bad against him, and I just wish him all the best. Good that he's gone, but from a business point of view, you can completely understand it.
Nice country as well as Belgium.
Yes,
nice
very
country.
much so.
It is inevitable, though, that we will miss him. Top goal scorer in the past 2 seasons, 14 goals, and then last season 15 goals in 33 league appearances. Of course, scored in the playoff semi-final against Derby, and we do need to replace him. And Leeds have been linked with a few players. The most likely one that looks like it could definitely happen is Eddie NkGhTg from Arsenal.
Could definitely.
Could definitely. Contradiction there.
It could happen, yeah. 20-year-old Arsenal striker Eddie NkGhTg has been linked with Leeds United. It would be a loan move. He's a very highly rated and very well thought of youngster. He's got plenty of experience as well. Scored quite a lot of goals in not many games as well. Got Europa League experience. Stats, would you take Eddie NkGhTg?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be a cracking signing. I think it's obviously a position that they need sort of filling with Kamar's departure. He did play a lot, as you say, in the Europa League for Arsenal. I think he actually scored against Burnley on the last day last season for the Gunners. And I think it'd be a really good sign. So obviously, I don't think he'll start straight away because I think Paddy's got that number 9 shirt now. But yeah, you do need reserve. It's a long season. We saw last year. We were discussing on the way down that it was 64 injuries, which absolutely incredible. And even at the start of this season, you lost Ayling, you lost Ruth through injury as well. Tyler Roberts is out with an injury. I don't think Tyler's trained too much over the summer, so you do need reinforcements in there. And it's another option. It'd be great if we could get NkGhTg and Ryan Kent over the line. It looks like we're only going to get one over the two, but NkGhTg, an out-and-out striker, will do me perfectly.
Yeah, he is an out-and-out striker, and I think that we do need that to replace Kemar Roof. And a lot of people would moan saying we need a 15-goal a season striker, but if you're getting a 15-20-goal a season striker, they're going to replace Bamford. And as Charles said earlier, I think Bamford is going to be the main man up front to start every single week. And so if you were going to bring in a striker, they need to be happy as backup. And NkGhTg, I think, coming in 20 years old from Arsenal, yes, he's a very highly rated youngster who probably wants to start, but I don't think he would mind sitting on the bench at Ellen Road, training under Marcelo Bielsa. And I think for NkGhTg as well, and for Arsenal, it's the perfect loan move as well. I think there's plenty of contacts there, and I think Arsenal fans will be happy with it. Going to Marcelo Bielsa.
Yeah.
It's kind of going straight down to the line, though, with this between us and Bristol City, and I wonder what kind of promises the Victor Orta's been making Unai Emery. Obviously, he knows him from Sevilla, but what kind of promises he's been making? Because Bristol City have got is it JG up front?
That's right, yeah.
And
front on JG.
He's been playing up there on his own. He's not scoring huge amounts of goals. Bristol City might be able to say, well, if he comes to us, you'll start every game. Leeds won't be able to offer that with Bamford obviously having the number 9 shirt.
Yeah.
So you kind of wonder what kind of what kind of things that Victor Orta's been saying to convince him to come, but he does look like a really good player.
Yeah, and there's plenty of contacts there. Angus Kinnear, of course, used to work at Arsenal.
He did.
You got Unai Emery, I think, knows Marcelo Bielsa and Victor Orta, and there are contacts there, and I think that we are working a lot of magic. As Stats said at the beginning of the podcast, Phil Hay tweeted earlier, Bristol City planned for Eddie NkGhTg to undergo a medical today, but it didn't happen. Leeds are pushing hard to get NkGhTg over the line. So.
Yeah, I think it's just frustrating, and obviously it's happened with the Roof deal because the Roof does happen so late in the window that things like this should have really been sorted. And you look at the Dan James deal, that obviously will be featured quite a lot in the new documentary when it comes out hopefully later in this month.
You would have thought we would learn from that.
Yeah, and I think that's the only frustration because Dan James was, as far as we all aware, was all but a Leeds United player. And I remember actually staying up till 11 o'clock.
I did as well.
I was absolutely shattered.
I was waiting until it was confirmed.
And then Phil Hay tweets the Dan James deal off. And then I just went right back to bed and thought, thanks. But in all seriousness, for me, transfer business shouldn't go down to the wire.
Shouldn't.
Because you've got that in the back of your mind. You saw what happened with Dan James that Hugh Jenkins turned his phone off, and obviously Dan James is not a Man United player, and good luck to the kid. I think it'd be absolutely brilliant for them, but transfer deadline, it frustrates me because your business should be done early, especially in January. Your business should be done at the start of January. You should identify who you need to go to Leeds or anybody, at least go to a wider scheme in football. You should be identifying which players you need. I don't like January transfer window because I think it's panic buys. I think in August, obviously we've had the first week of the season and it's done by 5 o'clock tomorrow. But for me, you should do your business when you know what's happening. Obviously, with Leeds, different set of circumstances because Kimara only went yesterday, and obviously that frees up the option to try and get NkGhTg in over the line by 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's good publicity though to do deals on deadline day because you will get your report of outside Ellen Road probably on deadline day, Thursday 5 p.m. for deadline. Obviously, I think you will get your reporters out there and good publicity. But yeah, it should be done early business. But Eddie NkGhTg looks like he could be coming to Leeds. It looks a very good possibility.
Just a quick question on that: do you give him the number 7 shirt?
Number 7 shirt?
Yeah, now that Kimara's gone.
He probably will.
Yes.
Probably will.
Yeah.
I don't really look into kit numbers, though. I'm not really
just
too bothered.
Just maybe pedantic.
I think if he does come in, it will be a backup, but a very good backup. I think he is a highly rated striker, and I think it would be a very good sign on loan. Remember, and it is.
I'm not going to give him away.
And it is. Also, Leeds United linked with Ryan Kent as well, and it is either NkGhTg or Ryan Kent. Ryan Kent's an interesting one, though. Of course, he's 22 years old, a winger from Liverpool. Now, apparently, talks have progressed with Liverpool. We've got a fee now, around £7 million plus add-ons, which would take it to £10 million. Ryan Kent last season scored 6 goals in 27 appearances for Rangers.
Yes.
Made 9 appearances in the Europa League. Charles, what are your thoughts on Ryan Kent? Do you think he's any good?
I think he's a decent player. I just think that we already have players of his type at the club.
Got wingers coming out of our ears.
Yeah, we've got plenty of wingers. We've obviously got Hernandez who plays out wide. We've got El Da Costa. We've got Jack Clark. We've got Jack Harrison. We've got
Sibicki.
Tooth.
Sibicki, yeah, because he'll be definitely playing.
Alioski as well.
Alioski, he's kind of flirting between left back and left wing at the moment.
Just going to call him the tunnel killer, Alioski, because every tunnel he goes into,
batters a tunnel.
Just batters the tunnel, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I just sort of think he's. I know some people would rather us get Kent, but I don't think he's a necessary signing. Yeah. I think NkGhTg is a necessary signing.
Yeah, I think for me, Stats. I think to replace Roof, I'd rather get an out-and-out striker, in which NkGhTg is. Yes, he may be a bit more inexperienced than Ryan Kent, but we've got plenty of wingers. Whether Ryan Kent can adapt in the central role, we don't know. But I'd rather be assured that we've got an out-and-out striker to cover Patrick Bamford than a winger who maybe adapts
from
into
my
a new
perspective, I think NkGhTg is a necessity. I think if we were to get Ryan Kent, it gives you another option. I think at the moment we have got a lot of wingers.
Do we need another option?
We probably don't. And I think that's where the Jack Clark thing is left a little few fans. I think he was on the bench, wasn't he, on Sunday, Jack Clark, as an unused sub. We probably don't need another winger, but as we saw with injuries last year, you don't know who you're going to be able to call on at any particular time. So,
and you got Jack Harrison. You got Jack Harrison. If we got Ryan Kent, they could always adapt to the number 9 role. And Bielsa, he can work his magic on anyone really. El Da Costa, he could become the best number 9 in the championship. We never know what could happen. And I think it is good to have options. But if I were going to pick one, I'd rather have NkGhTg.
What do you think? And I ask you both, what's Costa's natural position?
He's a right winger.
Yeah, well, there you go then. So do we? Do we need Ryan Kent?
Yeah. He just doesn't seem. I know Bielsa's very fond of him, though. That seems very evident in what the stuff that Phil has been saying, and every kind of journalist associated at the club is saying basically that Bielsa's very fond of Ryan Kent as a player and what I would like him at the club. But I think Bielsa recognises that we do need another striker.
Definitely.
And club apparently there's a bit of club pressure to get another forward, so I could probably see us getting NkGhTg over Kent.
Would you rather NkGhTg than Ryan Kent?
I would, because I think he's a really good player as NkGhTg. Every time I've seen him play for Arsenal, which isn't that often, he has got great movement. He's got ridiculously good pace, and and Bamford's a great finisher, but he's not got a lot. He's not hugely fast. So if you get
it will definitely be an interesting one. Keep an eye on that. It does look like it's either Kent or NkGhTg.
The interesting with Kent though is he might end up being in limbo because he'll want to go and play football, and it doesn't look like Liverpool going to offer him any first team football. I know they're in the Champions League in 100 other competitions with like the World Club Challenge, whatever it is nowadays, and what have you.
And they don't want to loan Kent out.
And they don't want to loan him out, and it doesn't look like Rangers are going to be able to agree a deal with him. So where does that leave him as a player? Because he might end up pushing for a move for Leeds.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one.
Yeah,
it does look like either or, though, either NkGhTg or Kent. But why can't it be both? One's a loan, one's a purchase. we've made £30 million plus in player sales this summer. Surely we can afford a loan and a signing.
If we sign NkGhTg and then Kent realises that he needs to be out for Liverpool, he might submit a transfer request on deadline day.
That's when it gets in, and that's when it starts to get interesting. That's when agents get involved and what have you. But yeah, I certainly think NkGhTg will get done. I think Kent may come as well. Just to the fact that he may realise that he wants first-team football. Ryan Nolan is another one to keep an eye on with Internazionale. I don't know much about this Colido deal. I don't even know if these are for the under-23s. Then you've got the goalkeeper, the name's completely escaped me.
Ilan Meslier.
That's the one.
19-year-old goalkeeper from a French League Two side, FC Lorient.
Yes, that's the one. So I think he'll come on. But to me, as I think we're saying on the way down, the goalkeeping situation is really interesting at any football club because it's the only position you can't keep everybody happy. And obviously, Bailey Peacock-Fowler's gone to Burnley. I don't think he's going to be involved that much at Burnley. I think he'll be on the bench for, obviously, for Tom Pope. Nick Pope, should I say? I always make that mistake. Tom Pope. Heaton's obviously gone to Aston Villa. I don't think Bailey will be involved too much at Burnley by the Cup games. Odds on drawing Burnley in the Cup again, probably quite high. And yeah, it's the kind of position where, unless Kiko makes an absolute horror mistake, and by that means he comes out to the centre circle and tries to juggle around three players against
Manuel Neuer against South Korea in the World Cup.
Yes, very much so.
When he runs
so.
Literally the other half of the field.
I'm happy. I've seen Camille play quite a lot, Camille Isaac, and
I don't think he's that bad a keeper.
He's a good keeper.
Yeah.
No issues.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting if we do get this 19-year-old goalkeeper on loan, Meslier. Graham Smith from the Yorkshire Evening Post reporting it. But it would be a loan. We only allowed 5 loanees in the team, so interesting to see how that will work.
Sounding, I think you said on the way down, Charles, and it won't count as an actual loan.
International loans don't count as loans for the 5-loan rule. They're treated as normal contracts, so you can have 6 loans if one of them's international.
Yeah, but is a goalkeeper... A 19-year-old goalkeeper really needed because I've got Isaac, we have got Will Huffer. We're basically getting someone else's youngster to try and improve them. Yeah. I'd rather get someone in who is known and who we do know is a very good goalkeeper to give Kiko much stronger competition. Really,
I think it'll be a case of probably go straight into the 23s and just give Isaac Huffer a sort of kick up the backside and competition. We all saw Huffer against Bristol City last season back in November, and I thought it was excellent.
Clean sheet.
I thought clean sheet on his debut. You can't really ask for more than that. So
he's colourblind though.
Yes, he is. I think that came out when he was playing at Barnet on loan last season. So look, if it's someone that Leeds want to get done, they'll get it done, and I think probably more going to the 23s in the first team squad. I think Isaac will still be on the bench for the Forest game on Saturday.
Looks like he's probably going to get a strong push for that second choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, and he may even play against Salford on Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely.
The Sky Sports special, Leeds v Salford. Oh, Gary Neville's Salford.
Gary Neville will be commentating.
Well, Sats, as you mentioned, Bailey Peacock-Fowler, he has joined Burnley, now Premier League side Burnley, on a permanent deal, 22-year-old signing, a 4-year deal at Turf Moor. Charles, the last time we were here, it was just a rumour and reports, but now that it's happened, what were your thoughts on it? Are you too bothered that he's gone?
I'm a bit amused, to be honest, because his comments upon leaving the club were, if I'm not going to be getting number 1 football, I want to leave the club, and he's gone to go sit on a different bench.
Yeah,
I don't understand why he would do it. If I was him, I'd say, all right, I'd like to go somewhere, but I want to be the number 1. So you go down to maybe like a low-end Championship club or a top-end League 1 club, maybe even on loan, just to be their number 1, and build up your experience playing, spend the entire season playing, and then leave Leeds. And then a Championship club might buy you to be their number 1. That would be the smart move, not becoming a career number 2 and sitting on Burnley's bench, because that's might be what I don't want to call a career number 2. That was probably a bit harsh. he may end up being a career number 2 if he's making transfer choices like that, because he's not going to displace. Is it
Nick
Pope?
Is it
Nick Pope?
Yeah. Pope.
Or Tom Eaton or whoever's going to be.
Tom Eaton's gone to Aston Villa.
He's gone to Villa.
As he transferred to Villa. So it'll be Pope. He's not going to displace Pope, is he? So he's going to be number 2.
It's an interesting move for him personally, but for Leeds, I think it's a good deal. Got $5.5 million.
He's probably in a lot more money there. That's the only reason he's gone.
Yeah, but $5.5 million for Bailey Peacock-Fowler, and we've got plenty of goalkeepers now. Isaac, I don't think is that bad a goalkeeper, and I think it was worth cashing in on Bailey Peacock-Fowler.
It's a position that you can sell a goalkeeper, and I feel sorry for a bit for Bailey because once Kiko signed, it was very apparent that Kiko would be the new number one. I thought Bailey will look back on his time, and yes, he did make some mistakes, some high-profile mistakes, certainly the one against Derby County at
Birmingham as well.
Pride Park back in August. Birmingham, the 2 goals, probably could have done better. Blackburn at home when he allowed Charlie Mulgrew's free kick to drift in from way out. So I think there's potential there with Peacock Farrell, and you saw the penalty save against Reading that gave us all 3 points. But it's a difficult one because it's just interesting with the comments he said. I'm not prepared to be second fiddle at Leeds, and he's going to be more than likely second fiddle at Turf Moor.
Exactly.
And he'll go and sit on the bench at Turf Moor.
Yeah, exactly.
So, look, he's gone to have a better career for himself. Good luck to him, and not a lot more to really be said on that one.
A player who does look like he will be leaving is 21-year-old left-back Tom Pearce. He looks like he'd go to fellow Championship side and Yorkshire rivals Barnsley on a permanent deal. Barnsley apparently meeting Leeds' asking price. I can't imagine it will be much. I think it's around £500,000. He will never going to get into the first team. We've got plenty of left-backs as well. Douglas, Alioski, Leif Davis. It's sad to see him go because he is a Leeds youngster, but and he did score 1 goal though, and that was against Barnsley, which is interesting. But I don't think Tom Pearce will be a big loss. Good luck to him at Barnsley, and Barnsley seem to be nicking all our youngsters at the moment.
Alex Malik Wilkes I thought was superb against Fulham. Apo Helm. I saw Apo Helm in the summer actually at the shops near my flat because he lives next door to me. I feel a bit for Pearcey, but he's probably now behind Leif Davis in that pecking order. Barry Douglas, Alioski, even Stuart Dallas can play left back,
and Baradi as well.
And Baradi can play left back. So look, he's going out to see first team football. I know at that period Paul Heckingbottom didn't do great things at Leeds. However, he did nurture a lot of the youngsters. So yeah, another one. If he's going to go out, good luck to him and good luck at Barnsley for him.
Yeah, good luck to Tom Pearce. And of course, as mentioned earlier, Kemal Roof has left to Anderlecht. And that seems to be it for the outs and over transfer rumours and news now. Now, before we look ahead to the next couple of games, first of all, I do just want to touch upon the news that came out last week regarding Leeds United under-23 midfielder Jordan Stevens. He's been charged by the FA with a breach of betting rules. Allegedly, he placed 59 bets on games last season. Charles, we're very big fans of Jordan Stevens in the under-23. He's a promising player, very talented, and it's kind of a shame about the news, really, isn't it? And you hope that it doesn't tarnish his reputation.
No, but I know all my mates, are 19, 20, 21-year-old mates. Teenage lads are betting loads these days, especially on accumulators and things like that on the Sky Bet, which is what the Championship's named sponsored by. Yeah, got 32 Red who sponsor is it Middlesbrough and Derby and Villa when they were in the Championship. And Paddy Power sponsored Huddersfield. Yeah. There are betting companies all over football, and especially all over the Championship. It doesn't surprise me that a youth player is sticking on a few bets on the weekend like any other teenage lad.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I have a problem with it. You know, you've got leagues such as the Sky Bet Championship, the Ladbrokes Premiership up in Scotland. You've got shirt sponsors 32 Red, Betfred, Unibet, Paddy Power. You know. I mean, it must be hard for players to not bet.
I think from my perspective, there's 2 schools of thought. I think the first one is you're a footballer, you're in a very privileged position, and it's difficult to say no. However, you look, as you rightly said there, Charles, all the betting companies
surrounded by him
on the shirts, the companies, like you said, the Sky Bet Championship, etc., etc. And it's actually quite interesting because Huddersfield Town with Paddy Power, although it was a hoax, it was a very clever hoax with a sachet on the shirt, because too many betting companies are getting involved in sport, and it's very difficult not to go and have a bet, whether you're a footballer, whether you're not a footballer, whether you're a human being at the end of the day, and it's the incentive there to win big money, and it's very difficult to sometimes, especially with Jordan Stevens, I think he's quite young as well, to say, I'm not going to have a bet this week. I can guarantee you there are millions of footballers out there that have had bets on teams that will never be caught. Yeah,
so it's interesting to see how they catch them. But it's a big problem. And if the EFL and FA really want to stop footballers from betting, ban betting companies from sponsoring shirts, sponsoring leagues, sponsoring trophies and competitions. Just ban them. But they're not going to do that because
there's far too much money in it.
Yeah, far too much money in it.
You've got the Sky Bet Championship, is it the Ladbrokes Premiership in
Scotland? Yeah.
So there's just too much. Yeah. In there, like for me, I loved it when it was a Carling Premier League. Okay, Carling, great drinks isn't probably the best, but it's difficult not to have a bet. Like we all do, we all have accumulators every weekend. We all lose thousands and thousands of pounds, not individually, but please gamble responsibly if you are listening to this. However,
don't gamble thousands of pounds.
When the fun stops.
Yes, very true. And it's very difficult because the money is big and it's very easy to fall into a trap. Now, I'm absolutely certain Jordan will have learnt from it. And what have you, they've spoken to the club about it, the club are supporting him through it, and I'm sure he won't do it again, but it's very difficult because there's so much around you with betting companies' names on these days.
Exactly.
He's 19 years old. He's not Joey Barton, who's in his 30s betting on clubs.
I'm amazed he's still got a job, but that's another story.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully John Stevens has learnt, but it is a real issue, and if VFL really want to tackle the problem, ban betting companies from sponsoring.
Correct, absolutely.
But that's the rant over now.
Yep.
Let's look ahead to the next couple of games. Then the first coming up this Saturday, the first game of the season at Ellen Road, 12 o'clock kick-off, which I'm kind of annoyed about. I hate 12 o'clock kick-offs. But of course, it's against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, of course, lost 2-1 at home to West Brom last Saturday. We've of course beat Bristol City 3-1 away on Sunday. Charles, how do you see this game against Nottingham Forest playing out?
I mean, I don't know much about their game against West Brom. I heard they weren't overly impressive in that game.
No.
I'm looking forward to playing because I didn't get to see us play Forest last season because I was working. I was working at Nando's at the time, so I didn't get to. Yeah, actually, should be advertising that because don't go to Nando's. Seriously, don't go.
Cheeky Nando's.
Yeah.
12:30 kick-off.
12:30 kick-off.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. They've still got some of their Portuguese players they got from last season, don't they?
They have indeed. Yeah.
They've just signed Carl Jenkinson from Arsenal.
Yes, they have.
Today, so. I don't know how well he's going to adjust to life in the Championship. Hopefully badly. No, I've got nothing against him. I just don't want Forest to do well. I'm looking forward to seeing us play them, but we got quite unfortunate against them home and away last season because the 1-1 draw at home.
I think they got more unfortunate because Kem Arif scored with a handball.
But from what I saw, we battered them throughout the game. We just couldn't find the back of the net, which was an issue in some games last season. And then the away leg, we had Calvin Phillips sent off on around the 30-minute mark, didn't we? I mean, deservedly so. It was a red card challenge.
Yeah.
But then we went 2-1 up because we attacked, and then we struggled because we just kept attacking.
Even with 10 men.
We refused to defend.
That's the way we play, isn't it?
Because we just left Pontus Janssen defend the one half of the pitch on his own. But I'm looking forward to seeing us put on better performances against Forest. I reckon we will win.
Yeah.
First home game of the centenary season, we're in to win it.
Yeah, and hopefully we carry confidence from the Bristol win into this, build momentum, get a good run going. As you said, beginning of the podcast, Charles, we're on a good run at the start of last season. Hopefully we're on another good run. You'd imagine it'll be the same lineup as the Bristol game.
It's interesting because we're playing Forest with another new manager for Nottingham. And the amount of managers they go through is incredible. They started last season with Aitor Karanka.
Martin
O'Neill had a spell, obviously rumoured to be joining Leeds at one time. And now I've got obviously Sabri Lamuche, the former Monaco midfielder. And I watched the full 90 minutes on Saturday, and I thought they started off really well. Matty Cash scored a really good goal, and then they just fell into the trap again. And I thought if you pepper their goalkeeper Muric, who obviously was at Man City last season, he looked really shaky.
Yeah, he conceded a couple of really poor goals.
Yeah, Matty Phillips scored from way out from sort of the sidelines, and after that, I thought West Brom just controlled the game. I think it's an opportunity for Leeds just to get the home season off to a winning start. Forest are never easy opponents to play. We've got a decentish record against them. Ellen Road is one of the two teams that we've played 10 years in a row, amazingly, since we've been in the Championship. Them and Derby County are the other ones, now that Ipswich Town have gone. So, yeah, we've had fun and games with Forest over the years. Obviously, we had the 7-3 that I don't think anyone in the ground will ever forget under Neil Warnock. But we've had some decent results, beat them 4-1 under Grayson, beat them 2-1 under Warnock. We remember Solomon Dakar was absolutely thunderbolt of a goal.
That was a great goal.
Against them in January 2017. So it's an opportunity. It's another difficult game. No games are easy in the Championship. Forest will be looking to bounce back from the disappointment of the defeat to West Brom, but it just gives Leeds an opportunity in front of a full house at Ellen Road to go out and put a performance up leading into a game against Salford, which I think there'll be quite a few changes for.
Yeah. Score prediction for Nottingham Forest?
3-0 Leeds. I'm confident. I am really confident. I think having seen the way the team performed on Sunday, Ashton Gate, it gives everyone a bit of... Look, I don't get too carried away. Forest are never easy opponents. They've got Michael Dawson, who's 3-1 in defence, who just seems to keep rolling out the ears. So I probably would come on to regret that comment. Hope you're not listening, Michael. You were good at holding Tottenham.
Puts in a world-class performance.
Absolutely. I just think Leeds will have too much for them. I think they'll carry on the good performance from Ashton Gate and sort of attack at will, and a nice early goal will be lovely and settle the nerves. And only 2 managers, and I was working this out, have ever won back-to-back opening games, back-to-back seasons. Don Revie in 63-4, 64-5, and David Ella in 2001, 2002. So can Marcelo be able to add to that list? But yeah, opportunity to get another 3 points on the board, and I think they will do.
Yeah, Charles, score prediction?
I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds.
2-0. I said 2-1 on the LS11 podcast. I'm going to change. I'm going to go 3-1. I am confident. I'm going to go 3-1 to Leeds United. Well, on to the next game then. Of course, away at Salford City in the first round of the Carabao Cup. The Dwarves of Roses.
I always slap them 10-0. I really do.
I mean,
I want to see Gary Neville on Sky Sports crying.
It's written in the stars for us to lose against Salford City on TV, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
It
But
is. It's got Sutton United written all over it.
but it should be a good game, though. It should be an awesome atmosphere. It's the biggest game in Salford City's history, really. I mean, they don't really have a history.
A 20-minute history.
Yeah, it's funny because I went to watch Salford. This was this was in 2009 when Halifax was starting out in the Unibond Division 1 North, and also the ground was decrepit, and all of a sudden Peter Lim's coming from Valencia, the not so real class of 92 have come in and bought the club. And again, I watched them against Stevenage on Saturday lunchtime. They look decent, and I actually think they'll go back. They'll have back-to-back promotion, Salford, and I think they'll be in League One next season. I think they've got a good manager in Graham Alexander.
And they got owners with loads of money.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can achieve with millions and millions of pounds.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Billions.
I don't know if Adam Rooney's still there from Aberdeen.
Yes.
I think he'll cause Leeds a handful. I think for me that it's one of them. It's a potential banana skin. We all seen what's happened in previous years in previous cup competitions with the likes of Newport County, which I thought was an absolute disgrace, and Sutton United, which I think was Gary Monk sticking 2 things up to the board, saying I need players, and it completely backfired on him. He'll make changes. Will Bielsa. I won't mind just getting through this one and getting knocked out, because for me, a bit like last season, we lost to QPR in the FA Cup. No one was really that bothered. It was a tie nobody wanted. I just think with this one, Ed, it's a real potential, and it's that Leeds Manchester United feel yet again.
Yeah, I really don't want to lose against Salford City, but you know, I mean, Charles, surely we have to beat Salford City.
I don't really want to go on a cup run, but I don't want to lose to this lot.
No, I don't want to lose to Salford.
This propped up fake RB Leipzig fake club sponsored by Sky and they're one of them cretins. I don't want to lose to this lot. I'd rather lose to a real football club.
I think that there will be many changes, though. I hope that some players, Pablo Hernandez, example, I hope that he is nowhere near Salford on the night. But of course, I do hope to win. I think we will win. I think we may concede. Adam Rooney may get him a score sheet, but I'll go 2-1. Charles, what are you going for?
Sorry, 3-0. We're gonna slap them.
Like your optimism.
Penalties. Sorry.
Penalties.
I just think it could be one of them nights that is just written with Salford City's biggest night in their history. Look, if we get beat, we get beat. I hate losing football matches, but if it's one less midweek game for the team to fully focus on the league, it won't be too detrimental. I just don't want to go out 3-0. I don't think we will. I actually do think Leeds will win the tag. I think Leeds will have too much for them, and I think you'll see some senior players play. I think the youngsters, the likes of Kun will probably play. Nketiah, should he sign, will probably play.
Clark will probably play.
But I still think they'll have enough against Salford. And yeah, look, it's that game that you just don't want. When that draw came out back in June, you just thought, oh, you could just see it.
Pascal Struijk as well.
Yeah, probably play. Yeah, Struijk will probably play as well. So, but look, we can't look too far ahead. It's Forest first. That's the main one to look forward to. Then once Forest is finished, come 3:00 on Saturday afternoon, get to Salford.
I am going to push you for a score prediction, though. You said penalty, so score after normal time, score after extra time.
Leeds haven't lost a penalty shootout for a wee while. I think the last one they lost was Carlisle in the JPT back in 2010.
Because we beat Norwich, we beat Burnley,
beat Fleetwood.
We lost against Doncaster in the League Cup a few years ago.
The League Cup as well. That's Lewis. I think Lewis Cook got sent off then, didn't he?
And Chris Wood, he skied a penalty.
The penalty's still travelling to Mars. Nah, look, I think Leeds will win 2-0, actually. I don't think it'll go to penalties. I think Salford will have a flurry because it's what lower league sides do. They'll come and attack Leeds. Graham Alexander's got that philosophy where he'll try and attack Leeds. So I just think Leeds will have too much for them.
Yeah. And hopefully Leeds United win both games in this next week. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 28 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles for joining me in the studio.
Thanks for having me on, mate.
And thank you very much to Stats as well for coming on yet again.
I must say, give a plug to my book out in 2 months in all good bookstores. And we're back on the show beforehand, then.
Yes, definitely. We need to get you back on. Thank you for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And thank you to everyone as well who has listened or watched on YouTube and Facebook. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, why not subscribe or follow the podcast? Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. If you're listening, please do it. Please give us a 5-star review. Share the podcast around as well. Make sure to follow All Things Leeds on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Search up All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Search up All Things Leeds on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you have not already. Just search All Things Leeds. Me and Charles will be back next week to have a look at the Nottingham Forest game and the Salford City game. Hopefully it is 2 wins. And we will hopefully be joined by LS11 co-host and member of the Pigeon Detectives, Ryan Wilson. Hopefully he'll be on the podcast next week, so you don't want to miss that one. Take care, and we'll see you later.